we're making some little witchy, like natural witch potion bottles. And I got this idea because I found these awesome bottles at a thrift shop. One was $2, one was $1, and I can't believe those prices. And I've got my Craft Smart paints. I have a black, an espresso, and a golden brown. So the same colors I usually use for my toads if you watch my other videos. I've also got some twine, and I went through my Halloween craft stash and found all these little bits and pieces I picked up. So I've got some little skulls, which I think come in a bag at Dollar Tree. I've got bugs, which you can find at several different places, fairly cheap. And then I have some little skeleton bodies. And my skeleton bodies are the garland that you find at Dollar Tree where it has 5 skeletons together with twine. I just break that all apart. The black I'm putting by itself, and then the browns I'm going to mix because golden brown's too light, espresso's too dark. So I've got pretty much half and half, a couple drops of espresso, a couple drops of the golden brown. For the black paint, I'm just painting it directly onto the glass. The only thing I do before I paint is I always just clean everything with Dawn dish soap and dry it, but I'm just painting directly onto the glass, no primer or any kind of special paint. The only thing you cannot do, because it's not special paint, you can't go back and forth, it'll wipe it right off. So you got to keep moving left or right. But it does really good coverage. That's just one coat. Next, I'm going to take the 2 browns that I have, and I'm just using the brush to mix those up. Of course, when you're making your own little colors that are custom, if you want it darker, add some more of the darker color, lighter, add some more of the light. And this goes a long way. You probably only need 1 drop to have this switch either way because I'm using such a small amount. And I'm going to take that and just kind of randomly brush it around over the black. I want this to look like a older aged bottle, not just a, black bottle. So that's how it kind of looks, just looks murky. And I only did 1 coat because I don't really care about it being really thick on there. I do want a little bit of the light to come through so it looks like an old bottle. And for the tops, I'm going to wrap those in my twine. I just add a little dab of hot glue onto the back of whenever I decide what I want the back to be. And then I attach the end and I just wrap it around. You can do as tight or loose as you want to. You can go all nice and keep your lines on top of each other, go all crazy, whichever you prefer. If you can't find these bottles, which I doubt you would, they're pretty unique. I've never seen them before. You can also use sticks and just use the twine to attach a stick to the top of the bottle and have the same kind of shape and everything. And I think that would be really cool and wicked. You can also, if you're a little more advanced or like using clay, you could do clay and shape it out to look more like how these antlers are, or just any kind of spooky little crazy rune looking stuff at the top. So remember to like and subscribe if you like these videos. I do appreciate y'all's support, so thanks for tuning in. And enough of the pitchy stuff. Let's get back to the goods. So now I got to figure out what I want these fronts to have on them. So I've got my bugs, I've got my little skulls, I've got my little bones. So I'm just kind of playing with different ideas. So I know for sure something's going to have bones because they're potions, right? What I also love about these little garland pieces here is they are really easy to break apart. So you can just pull off the little arms and the legs and the heads and spines and everything. And you've seen me use these in the past in other craft videos. So if you go back, I've got a playlist that's like a Halloween craft binge from all my years together. And I've added these to candles and just all kinds of cool stuff for Halloween. If you cut them, it's really easy. You can just use regular scissors and you can cut them at the joints so you have little bones to work with. And then for the heads, I also cut those with scissors. You do have to poke a little hole in the side to get your scissors started. But I prefer scissors all the time if I can over the X-Acto knife. 1, for safety. 2, for the fact that I can control the scissors a lot easier than an X-Acto knife. I'd probably have all kinds of crazy cuts and pointy edges if I tried to do an X-Acto knife on this. Alright, so I like this pattern, little bone on top, bone on bottom, but it's going to have to go in this bigger bottle because it's definitely too long for my little bottle. So for the little bottle, I'm going to use this little teeny tiny snake out of my bug collection. And these are just little, like rubber little toys. So they're pretty easy to work with. You can also heat them up and stretch them or cut them to whatever size or shape that you need. So like here, I want to put the snake on there, but obviously it's way too long for this bottle. So I can easily do the same and just snip what I don't want with the scissors. And this is also going to just attach with hot glue, and it does it pretty easily. The snake is thin, and it tends to want to pop up on you. So you can press it and hold it, or if you think it needs a little bit of time, you could probably just rubber band around there too. I think because of the shape of this, you could also move that snake around, of course. And then to the right there, there's some space to the side of it. So if you wanted to add an additional like wording or a cool label underneath to say like snake venom or something, you've got the room on there, which is cool. All right, so now I'm going to take, for the large bottle, my little design that I did with my little skull face and my bones, and just going to hot glue those as well and line them up. It does help, again, to cut this as flat as possible because you're going to want to try to fit that and have a good adhesion to the bottle. Keep in mind, if you're going to be using anything for the skulls, you watch how your bottle is, like the size of the scale of the skull as well, because if it goes over the bottle, it's not going to look like it's part of the bottle. So I'm just getting everything set in here with the hot glue, and then once everything is set, then I'm going to do the same thing with the top. I'm just going to take my twine here and just keep wrapping it around. And this is how they look. I am really excited. I cannot wait to put everything out with all my little potion bottles. And I know that if I can do this, remember, you can too.